So when is a defeat device not a defeat device? Apparently, according to EPA and the world's most toughest debt collector, Cynthia Giles, a defeat device is okay when it's an aftermarket part distributed by someone like Harley Davidson. And it's very clear to see this discrepancy in enforcement from the EPA when you look at these comments from Cynthia Giles on Volkswagen and Audi with their defeat device and Harley Davidson with their defeat device. A defeat device is a defeat device, right? It does the same thing. It defeats emissions. But aftermarket defeat devices sold by the manufacturer of Harley Davidson have a limited impact, apparently. Now, I understand motorcycles are weekend things and they're not always driven and they're not necessarily a daily thing for a lot of people, but a defeat device is a defeat device. And somehow Harley Davidson gets away with paying less than $50 million in fines for producing over 300,000 devices that defeat emissions. Granted, it's on motorcycles, but what's the difference, Cindy? What is this difference in enforcement? And I just look at your quote for Harley Davidson and think, yep, you really don't care about anything other than money. So I think this is a scam, especially when I don't see on the EPA website anything relating to the actual amount of pollution that Harley Davidson's defeat devices produced. So what you've really effectively done is screw over Volkswagen, Audi, and Porsche owners who have decided to purchase cars that may be diesel, but you painted diesel in a bad light. So here we have Reuters with the whole article on Harley Davidson. This was released today, okay? And I'm looking at it and I found her quote. Her quote says, "This settlement immediately stops the sale of illegal aftermarket defeat devices used on public roads that threaten the air we breathe." Oh, okay, Cindy. That's nice. Let's go back to what you said about Volkswagen. Volkswagen has once again failed its obligation to comply with the law that protects clean air for all Americans. Blah, blah, blah. All companies should be playing by the same rules. EPA, with our state and federal partners, will continue to investigate these serious matters to secure the benefits of the Clean Air Act and ensure a level playing field for responsible businesses and to ensure consumers get the environmental performance they expect. Yeah, okay, well that was for the 3.0 V6 diesel engines. What did you say earlier about the 2.0? Oh, with today's filing, we take an important step to protect public health by seeking to hold Volkswagen accountable for any unlawful air pollution, setting us on a path to a resolution. That's funny, you didn't say anything about that when you talked about Harley Davidson. Well, let's continue. Put simply, these cars contain software that turns off emissions controls when driving normally and turns them on when the car is undergoing an emissions test. So let me get this right. What you're saying is that what VW did with the Audis and the Porsches and all the VWs was that they cheated because they used a defeat device for emissions testing, yet Harley Davidson didn't because they sold it after the fact to customers, but they sold 300,000 plus devices since 2006, which is roughly the same time that VW was starting their emissions problem too. I don't see the difference. A defeat device is a defeat device. Why is there such a huge discrepancy with the punishment? Is it because you're simply tarnishing the diesel name? I mean, we know that diesel has more energy density in a gallon of fuel, but I mean, just looking at your website that says diesel has more hydrocarbons than a gallon of gasoline doesn't really make sense because you're burning less diesel to go the same distance in a gas car. And when you're talking about motorcycles versus diesels, sure, they're completely different, but a defeat device is a defeat device. So why are you making diesels look so bad when what Harley Davidson did was the same thing VW did, but after the fact for 10 years, over 300,000 times? I don't understand why you're treating this completely differently. And what it does is really it just screws over TDI owners. So thanks a lot, Cindy.